my name is Leo and welcome to the new day of Elder Scrolls Arena. Well, I was going to say welcome to the town of Port New View, but you know, that's not how I start my videos. So it is now the 3rd of Rain's Hand and we have arrived in Port New View. Ruled by Duke Abdullah, and the streets are very, very strangely quiet. I know. Okay, what time is it? Oh, it's midnight. Fantastic. So, yeah, I guess we just gotta find somewhere to sleep. With a very small amount of health, so I really... Oh, you should probably save the game. Yeah, because you probably die, and then you'll start, and you won't have... What day is it now? Is it 43? 43, right? Yeah, 43 is the 3rd, yeah. Jeez, man, we're getting up in there. We are getting up in there. So, one way to say it, it's probably not the words I would have chosen. Get up in there. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Did you kill me? Alright, see? And that's why you save the game.
With you,
because when you save the game, stuff like that doesn't phase you. Because you can just load your game again. Good to know. Now, find me the damn thingy. There's one over here. There, go. Get in there. Okay, made it. We're safe. We're in the Dancing Huntsman. Dancing Huntsman. Seems vaguely familiar for some reason. I don't know. Alright, get a room. I'll take single. For one day. Thanks. No, how about I give you 8? Alright, 9 done. On my face. Let's go sleep. Alright, well, you know, I do actually want to talk about stuff. So let's talk about things, okay? So as you will probably be aware, if you actually bothered to look it up, you would have noticed that the Chico's tapes. People were asking after I did all the cassette tapes that are available in Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes at the beginning of the game. I did like a couple of videos with all the tapes in Japanese, and people were asking after I did the full playthrough to get Chico's tapes. And there's a bunch of tapes that you can find in the game that actually let you listen to like some more information. And yeah, so I went through and I grabbed all the tapes, plus a couple of extra ones that you can also collect. And there's a video that went out yesterday that had all of those tapes up there. So in case you were looking for that and you wanted to get that and you missed it, because I did like let everyone know that it was there, you can go check that out. I think it's episode part 8 of Ground Zeroes the Ground Zeroes playthrough. Now, on the note of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, this is mainly what I want to talk about, really, is, you know, now that I've finished the game and I've done most of the stuff in the game, I also watched the English voice, all the cutscenes in English yesterday as well. So there's a few things I want to talk about. The first thing is guns. Now, there's not a lot of guns in Ground Zeroes. I guess it's to be expected. It's a very small map and a very small, you know, part of the game. But I just felt a bit disappointed by the lack of, like, different guns. Yeah, they've got, like, pretty much a gun for each, like, main type of gun. You know, you start off with the tranquilizer gun. If you are playing it on normal, you also get, like, the main assault rifle, which has a silencer and a flashlight. There's also a silenced submachine gun that you can get after you get, I think it's rank C on most of the missions, which is actually pretty useful because you only get one silencer with that first gun. So once you've run out of friggin' once you run out of silencer, you're pretty much screwed as far as stealth is concerned. So having another gun with some silence is pretty handy. Then what other guns are there? I can't remember the guns you get. I think it's different. guns that you unlock for different rankings, it differs depending on the mission. I know that you can unlock a shotgun in one mission. I can't remember what ranking it is. You get a rocket launcher. I think rocket launcher is B. You can also get a sniper rifle, which I think is A in most cases. And the S rank, you get like this awesome assault rifle with a grenade launcher, the one that you use in, I think it's the Intel Rescue. Oh god, that mission. It was a fun mission. It was just really sad how that guy put himself in the game with his friggin' makeshift glasses or whatever he is. Yeah, it's pretty dumb. So, alright, well, what else do I want to talk about? Yeah, so, I mean, the gun, what other guns were there? So there's the shotgun, there was a handgun, right, that you only get if you, like, look in, like, one particular store, and, like, there's no point in having this gun. Well, I guess if you hadn't unlocked the submachine gun, and you run out of tranquilizer darts for your tranquilizer gun, I guess you could take that gun, I guess? But, I mean, like, by the time I found that handgun, I had finished, you know, the mission, and I unlocked the submachine gun, so why would I not just use the submachine gun instead of your stupid dumbass 45 gun? And then there was another gun, oh, actually, yeah, there was one other gun, is it called the orangutan or something like that? And it was basically like a stun gun. Like, you shoot people, it made a lot of noise, but it would knock them out. It was particularly useful in that Intel rescue mission, if you're trying to get no kills, because there is a friggin' achievement for that. Well, and it's key to getting S rank, of course. But, yeah, apart from that, that's really all the guns in the game. And it was kind of disappointing. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 4 had just so many different guns. And I remember Metal Gear Solid 4 just playing, like, the game over and over again. And doing, like, alright, I'm going to play the entire game using the Desert Eagle. And I'm going to play the entire game using the Desert Eagle long barrel version. And then I'm going to play the entire game using, you know, the what do you call that gun? It's the gun that the frogs use. It's one of the guns in Counter-Strike. Whatever. Yeah, and I just did that. And then I did, like, play the entire game using smoke grenades. And use the entire game using the magazine. As in, I can't, except for, of course, bosses where you need to shoot people. I would only, like, going through the levels, I would only, like, throw the magazine to distract the guards and, like, slip past them. That being said, you could totally just run up to them and CQC them, I guess. That's true. I guess. Yeah, sure. But yeah, the guns were kind of, you know, disappointing. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is voices. Now, I bought the Japanese version that had the Japanese voices, and I was a bit anxious at first doing that, because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to play the game and read the subtitles at the same time. But it actually wasn't really as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was actually quite good. And after seeing the English voices, I just realized, wow, maybe it's just the fact that I watched the Japanese ones first. But I mean, I've had this opinion towards many games where I've watched the Japanese version and I've realized, wow, the Japanese version is so much better than the English version. And I thought, well, Metal Gear Solid won't be like that, because I mean, I've watched the Japanese version of all the Metal Gear games, and yeah, they're kind of similar. I wouldn't really say one is best, but maybe that was just my bias after playing the English version first. Now that I played the Japanese version of Gran Zeroes first, watching the English version, it wasn't anywhere near as good. Like, take Ghostface. Is his name Ghostface or Skullface? Whatever his name is. Ghost Skull. Skull Ghost. Whatever. That guy. The Japanese voice of him is so much better than the English version. The English version was really boring. Like, you couldn't just listening to his voice, you couldn't really feel like the disfigurement in his face. It just sounded like a dude. Whereas the Japanese voice, even if you were blind, you could probably tell a little bit that, there's something going on with him, there's something wrong with him. And I mean, I'll admit that I liked the English version of Paz and Chico better, because Chico, the Japanese Chico, is played by the same voice actor that did a whole bunch of like female voices in the Metal Gear games, like Eva and that. So Chico sounds like a girl, and Chico and Paz sound so similar that at the end of the credits, where Ghostface says, "Where is Cypher?" I'm not gonna spoil too much, but and someone's talking, I couldn't tell if that was Paz or Chico. Now I know, because I watched the English version, and I can understand the difference between Paz and Chico's voice, but they sound very, very similar. Anyway, what else is it? There's Snake. Well, Kiefer Sutherland, I mean, I'm not going to rag on Kiefer Sutherland, I'm not going to be all butthurt, because, Hader's not there, but to be honest, I think Hader would have been better in this particular situation. Would have been way better. So I'm not going to say like anything bad about Kiefer Sutherland, but I just feel that David Hayter would have been a much better choice. Honestly, I'm just going to put that out there. It just felt weird hearing, like, it's not that it had to be David Hayter, it's that the way that he portrays Snake's voice makes Snake feel more like a soldier dude rather than Snake. Like, Metal Gear Solid is not Call of Duty. It never has been, and, well, I'm hoping it never will be. Ground Zeroes has pretty much cemented the fact that I don't think it'll ever be Call of Duty. And Snake is not a Call of Duty guy, right? He's not your typical, I mean, Big Boss, I guess, is more than maybe Solid Snake was, but Big Boss is still, he's more than that, and it just felt like when Keith Sutherland was delivering the lines, for example, in the hospital, not in the hospital, in the helicopter after the mission is completed, it just felt like there wasn't really, I couldn't feel the emotion, right, in Snake's voice. It was just, there was no bartering, there was no, like, little quip, like, little, like, hint of laugh in his voice when he said stuff. Even when he delivered, the classic "kept you waiting" line, it was just, and I mean, the Japanese voice actor did all that. He put like emotion into the voice, and that leads me on to my next point. Is that the Japanese voices are just way more dramatic, like so much more so than the English version in all cases. I like Robert Acton Downs. I appreciate him being the voice of Sam Onosuke in various other games, but I mean, just at the end of the game, like when Snake is just about to jump back onto the helicopter, like in that final cutscene, and Miller is like holding his hand out to Snake, and he says "Snake," right? In the English version, Atkins Dan just goes "Snake," like he just shouts his name. But like the way that the Japanese voice actor goes "Snake," like you can like feel it, and with the music in the background, it just amps the tension and the emotion. And I got feels out of that scene in the Japanese version. And there was just no, like, even after I've watched the scene like a dozen times in Japanese, but watching it the first time in English, there were no feels at all. It was just, yeah, Miller's shouting his name, like, and then after the fact where Snake goes to they grab each other's hands and he lifts him up, yeah, there's feels there, but when Miller's like crying, like in the Japanese version, he's crying out in desperation for his friend. In the English version, he's just saying, "Snake, get on the damn plane." Like, that's literally all he's really saying with his emotion. So, a little bit disappointed in that. Oh well, what can you do? But I'm glad I got the Japanese version now. I really am, because I think the Japanese version is better. I mean, I got the radio drama, you know, the Cars. What was it called again? Peace and Cars Blues radio drama. If you haven't checked that out, go check out part 2 of my Ground Zeroes videos, which is actually the second thing of the tapes, cassette tapes. And well, the video starts off in the middle of like Paz's diary, but if you skip through a little bit, I'm not sure exactly where it is, but we get to the Kazuhira Blues, which is actually this really interesting 5-part radio drama, and it wasn't in the English version, and it was really cool. One thing I noticed at the end of the English version is there was this little the hospital scene, the teaser trailer for Phantom Pain, wasn't in the Japanese version. And I wondered why that was. It was really interesting. And there was a guy, there's a person one of the people who requested me to do the Chico tapes, was telling me about how there's a lot of censorship in the Japanese version of Ground Zeroes. Well, not a lot, but for example, in the hospital, you see like guts coming out of the person as they're trying to remove the bomb, whereas in the Japanese version there's really nothing there. You just see a little bit of blood, which was weird when I saw the English version. Well, I remember seeing in the Red Band trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5, I remember seeing that scene and there was the guts. But when I watched when I played the Japanese game, I was like, hey, wait, there's no guts there. What's that all about? It's weird. Yeah, but whatever. Now, the next thing that I want to say was Ground Zeroes. It was quite linear, and of course it was fairly short. I didn't really want to be join the big group of people who were up in arms about the length of Ground Zeroes. I mean, it took me about an hour and 40 minutes on my first playthrough to get through Ground Zeroes for the Ground Zeroes mission. Obviously there are other missions, and all the other missions, although I haven't uploaded those videos yet, took me about an hour each, more or less. But I did the Ground Zeroes mission again recently, and I did it in 17.5 minutes. And that's me. I'm in no way a speedrun expert. I still fuck up a bunch of times in Ground Zeroes. I'm trying to get S ranks now, and it's pretty difficult. Not as difficult as I'd originally thought it was, but still kind of difficult. So doing it in 17 minutes, for me, is pretty damn short. And I'm able to do all the other missions in 10 to 20 minutes. So it's quite easy to actually do the entire, all the missions and everything in, under an hour, or, just over an hour. So that's pretty sad when you think about it. What else did I want to say? Well, that said, I've played, my total playtime in all the missions so far is about 16 hours. So, I've pretty much got my money's worth. And I can certainly play. I've still got a lot more to play, so I'm not done with the game, and I've already got 16 hours out of it. So, for 26 bucks, I'd say it's enough. It's enough. It's satisfied. It's not Skyrim, but, there are, I was about to say there are very few games that can do it, but there's really only one game that can do that, and that's Skyrim. Well, there is Arena, but Arena's kind of, it's different. My particular playstyle is making it go on forever. That's actually true, yeah. Now, I wonder if the Cuba base from Ground Zeroes is actually going to show up in the Phantom Pain, as a level. Screenshots of it might pop up, but I want to know if it's actually going to be a level in the game. And that'd be interesting. I'm also wondering how linear the gameplay is going to be for the Phantom Pain. Now, the gameplay was very linear for Ground Zeroes. It was go here, pick up this person, go here, pick up this person, end. And of course you could pick up the second person first and the other person later, but you still had to go to those 2 points. And it was a very small map, and of course it's going to be fairly linear. But what can you expect, I guess, but, you know, it wasn't really what I was hoping. Now, the Phantom Pain is being billed as an open world MGS. That being said, watching the gameplay trailer of the Phantom Pain, where he's, you know, riding on the horse and then he jumps into the Jeep and then he rides in the armored tank. Actually, he rides in the armored tank first, whatever. You know, it looks very open, like it looks like a big open area, but when you think about it, there's like cliffs on either side of where he's traveling. It seems pretty linear to me. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. I just feel like that's it. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3 is probably the most linear MGS game so far, because it was really, like, there was a big area, and of course you can go to different areas, like, after you've done them in the story, but except for that one area that you didn't even have to go through in the story, you were pretty much going in a straight line all the way. At one point, you had to backtrack a little bit, and then continue on a straight line until the end of the game. Whereas, you know, in Metal Gear Solid 1, you know, there were the two buildings, and each building had ground, first floor, second floor, and you could go to them in any order. Like, you couldn't go to them in any order as far as the story was concerned, but, you know, you could do things out of order and go to different areas. Metal Gear Solid 2, of course, was fairly open because you had to go to this area, but you could go to the left or you can go to the right. You can go around the struts in a different order. I'm talking, of course, about the plant. And 4, I'd say 4 was pretty open. It was fairly open. I mean, even Act 3, which felt very linear because you were just following this resistance member. Depending on, like, if you knocked certain guards out, the resistance member would change direction. And, you know, you could always just ignore the resistance member and run around and do all sorts of cool shit. Which is what I did, because if you listen to the in-game podcast, it sort of guides you to, like, fun little Easter eggs and stuff. And that was all fun to do. I've pretty much done everything there is to do in that game, except for collect all the ghosts. It's surprising that I never actually did that. You know, what can you do? And it's got me thinking about whether or not, for the Phantom Pain, I should get the PS3 or the PS4 version. But that might be a discussion for, you know, another day, I guess. Sure. Well, that's enough. I think I've talked enough about Ground Zeroes for now, I guess. So, when we come back, well, you're gonna sleep. No, I'll sleep in the next episode. Ah, fine. When we come back, we will, well, you better go save the game then, I guess so, yeah. Better go save the game. And, yeah, when we come back, we will, take a little nap, start off with, do a bit of shopping, and then, go, get our butts to Val, because that's the next, place on the map. So I'm going to save, end of 43. Huzzah! And I go back in there. Well, you can stay right here. I guess so, yeah. Alright, yeah, like I said, my name is Leon. I'll see you next time.